switch it over because I'm rolling. I'm Josh Brolin. There we go. It's all working. Stuff's working. Got to be happy with that. Oh, yeah, I'm good. I'm good there. You're good there. Let's check the headroom. Yeah, it looks all right. We look the same size. That's it. We're the same size, same headroom, same looking room.
Just a question. Have you opened entries for Made in the West this year yet?
Open all year.
Oh, yeah.
They're open all year. The only time they're not open is the week of the festival.
So
you can submit any time.
So, but if you submit the week before the festival, that's considered for next year.
That's right. Yeah. So the close off for this year is I think it's I need to look it up. You can check it out on our website, but it's I think it's the 30th, around 30th of October. But you can still submit after the 30th of October. It just means it will be in the next year. So the portal's always open. You'll be surprised. We actually get submissions. I got a submission once on Christmas Day.
That's keen.
Yeah, that's super keen. Just pull that mic towards you. So you want it about a fist away. Yeah, a bit closer. Right in there. There we go.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas.
What's the max again? 10?
15 minutes.
15.
15 minutes, yeah. Actually, there was one film that broke the rule. It was 15 minutes and 3 seconds. And, well, technically, we could have kicked it out of the festival. We go, you're non-eligible because you have exceeded the time. I've gone, just making an executive ruling here, guys. It's only 3 seconds.
It's only 3 seconds.
I won't say what film it is because I think it actually won awards as well. So, there was one that was...
Well, it wasn't one of mine. It wasn't one of mine!
Definitely wasn't one of yours, dude. 1 minute, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 minutes long movie for you.
But, no, because, what's the prerequisite is that someone on the main team has to be a resident of Western Sydney and they do the application. Is that correct?
Yeah, so you've got to be a cast or crew member from Western Sydney.
Great. So if I edited this film and everyone else didn't, we're still eligible.
Oh yeah, totally.
Great.
That's totally eligible, man.
No, we'll be submitting.
Well, it's also locations. It's also locations. So if you shoot anywhere in Western Sydney, it's eligible.
Cool.
So the idea is that the reason for that criteria is to encourage people in Western Sydney to make films.
Yeah, of course.
And it's also to encourage people to come to Western Sydney to make films.
Well, I mean, it makes it ours.
There's now cohorts out there that come from outside of Western Sydney in order to make a film in Western Sydney.
Yeah.
To get into the festival, which I find very fascinating.
No. Do you know why? Because no word of a lie, but it's actually one of. It's probably the best.
I've been told that a lot.
It's the best.
But in a genuine sense, yeah. Because people come up to you, your festival's fantastic, but no, they go, no, it's literally, dude, it's the best.
It's the only, I'd say, I feel more taken care of at Made in the West in my first year, where I didn't know you guys.
Yeah.
I felt more comfortable and made more comfortable and felt like I had done something. Than probably the most prestigious festival you could get into.
Yeah, the one we get compared to is St Kilda.
Well, I've been to St Kilda because I was on opening night for Golem, and that was that was a surreal experience. That was a real surreal experience, but it is one of the best film festival experiences ever. But let's put it if I can be quite honest, I much enjoyed watching Golem with the Western Sydney audience than I did with the St Kilda audience.
Yeah, well, I go to a lot of festivals, obviously for market research, yada yada, and as well to go and see movies. I like going and seeing short films and feature films, and it's a good thing to go and do that because I get to see how other people do it.
Yeah.
And essentially when we constructed Made in the West, because it's weird to say when we made in the West, but when we put Made in the West together, we put together the party that we wanted to go to. So, and as a filmmaker, you think about, well, what experience do I want at a gala event? I want to walk down a red carpet. I want to get a photograph in front of a media wall. I want to do an interview. I want someone to take my photograph, and I want to have a drink.
You're the only festival I can think of that actually has someone on the red carpet with a microphone and
Yeah, well, there is other festivals out there.
I mean, there are a couple, but like, I mean,
WA Made, they do it.
yeah, like, I mean, but yours is the only festival I could think of where, like, you know, Misty will, like, you know, pull my arm at one point. She goes, okay, I need you to, at one point, go outside. She's got her clipboard there. She's like, I need you to go out at one point and have an interview with this person.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, no other festival, and I love that. Like, it's like...
Oh, you'd be amazed. The coverage that we get out of that clip, that highlights clip, is really important because that's what, it's kind
It's your
of
business
like...
card.
Yeah, it's exactly it. It's the flagship.
Yeah.
People see that clip and they go, "Wow, you guys really go all out." And go, "Absolutely." You got to celebrate these things because like, how hard is it making films, man? It's super hard.
Didn't we have one year where we were on 2 screens?
Yeah, that was a COVID year. COVID was a strange beast for festivals, man. Like it either put your lights out or it gave you an accelerator pad.
That was the festival that Golem was playing at. That was the year. Yeah, so that was 2020.
Well, we had 2 screens because of COVID restrictions, so we can only put 150 people in a room spaced out.
150 people is still.
Well, we managed. Yeah. We're the only festival that I know of that had a 300-person event.
That's cool.
Legally. Like, it was legal to do so because we had it in 2 separate cinemas. So we did one as a gala event. We did one as a movie marathon. And out of that movie marathon, we also then decided that we need to have something that's online in case an outbreak happened. Yeah. So we got the online film festival.
And that's become a staple now.
Yeah, the online film festival. It's now called, I love saying it because it took me a while to convince my team to name it this, but it's called the Made in the West Mega Movie Marathon. And I get to say it like that in the promo, which I love doing the voiceovers for Made in the West, but that just, for me, is like the ultimate announcement of a show. The Made in the West Mega Movie Marathon. You know, it just rolls off the tongue really well. Its reach is getting phenomenal. It's a global reach.
That's great.
People in India, people in America, people in England, people in Italy. I think we even had that year people in Malta watching Made in the West. So it's a great. I never thought of that as something that we would be doing. Like I always wanted to celebrate films and have a gala event to make people feel special about what they're doing. And I never thought that we would be taking that to a global audience. And so yeah, the Made in the West event itself is it's about local content for local audiences. But I never thought that could be inverted. And so it's local content taken globally.
Yeah,
and that's what the online film. It used to be called the Online Film Festival, but now it's called the Mega Movie Marathon. So the Mega Movie Marathon is getting popular.
That's great.
I think it's the first time we nearly recovered our costs on it. So, for instance, the festival itself, it took us, I think, 6-7 years before we started recovering costs because we're run at a loss doing such an exercise like that. So
it's like doing a film.
Yeah, exactly. It takes a while to get traction. It takes a while to get to a positive growth in events. And I can really see positive growth for the Made in the West Mega Movie Marathon. But let's get into it. Let me do an intro for you so we can now that we've done the the promo spot for Made in the West, let's go and talk about you, man. So let's go for it. You ready to jump in?
Yeah, I'm ready to jump in.
All right, let's go.
You are.
And welcome to the Pagey Train. Today I have in the studio with me, Ryan Cauchi, filmmaker, TikTok extraordinaire lately. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Oh, dude. Look, you've definitely come dressed to the nines. You've shown up today in a TikTok jacket.
Well, I haven't worn this pretty little number since the last day of the film shoot for Greystains. The last day of principal photography. This thing and I have seen some we've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Well, look, I must say I've had the privilege of seeing a few episodes now.
Awesome.
And it is looking amazing.
Thank you.
So you got some episode 5 coming out soon after this drops.
Yeah, so episode 5 comes out Friday.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to get a sneak peek at it, so thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Oh my God,
this is where shit hits the fan.
Oh, and it certainly does, man. Look, especially by episode 5, you're going to get hooked on this thing. It is amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. It's performed absolutely amazing. But it's so interesting, the platform. So because TikTok is more of a space for comedy, right? But you're doing like this horror, which is, by the way, really fucking scary. Because I've watched two scenes and that made me jump. It's hard to make me jump. I don't scare easy, right?
No, I don't. I don't scare easy either. And so like this stuff is like nice, comfortable bedtime story for me. So I don't scare easy. So when people say like oh that bit made me jump, I was like. I don't know. When you watch something so much for a long post production period, you just become cynical and jaded, and but until you get the score and the sound design, and then the color starts coming in. It just gets, it's like, you've gone from Kansas to Oz, Yeah,
that's a great way of putting it. I think, looking back at watching those scenes, man, I think it was it's definitely the creature that's in it. It looks fucking terrifying because it's not just something that is stereotypically scary because it looks like it's got like doily stuff on it and it's all, it's
I'm glad you picked up on that.
And it sort of has these things that tie to your childhood of, grandmothers or, being in your grandmother's house, but it's now this monster. But this monster's got these long, eerie fingers that have dimensional powers to send you to other places, and those other places look evil and nasty and scary.
I'm getting a bit concerned here because I feel like you have now gone to my computer before this interview and you've raided my email correspondences with the creature designer.
Yeah, okay.
I've never had... I was just like, I'm just amazed that you just went like a bang, 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 bang. Every single point there was... absolutely fucking spot on.
Oh, dude.
Bang on.
Well, that's the experience I had watching that creature.
You are literally one of the smartest people I know.
Oh, you're too kind, man. Look, I watch a lot of content.
Yes,
to be honest
of course
with you,
you do.
I watch a lot of content. And I will see... I'm the guy that's in the cinema going, there's a drop frame there. I see them a mile away. I see things frame by frame.
I'm exactly the same.
Just by editing, you just become this way. You just see things that other people don't see. Like I'll be sitting down with Misty doing a promo. I go, oh, there's a broken digital frame in there. There's an interlaced issue. She goes, how did you see that? And she goes, play that again. And I'll play it. And she goes, I still didn't see it. I go, well, watch. I'll just frame onto it. There it is there. She'd be like, how? Well, for me, it's like, how don't you see it? For me, it's the other surprise. How don't you know that? But yeah, I guess people's brains just work differently.
Yeah.
But it's so scary though. That creature. Talk to me about the creature. How long did it take to put together, and where did these ideas originate from to make this creature?
Okay, so we can talk about the creature's identity, about who it is, because the promos explain what it is.
So, because we don't want to give too much away, because it is quite fascinating, and it is an 18-part story.
Yes.
That it gets you hooked every episode.
So, I mean, like, I'm happy to say who she is, but not what her function in the story is.
Okay.
So she is Il-Hadila. Il-Hadila is the sleep paralysis demon in Maltese folklore. We've all got sleep paralysis demons, or what we call, old hag. Some people see an old hag at the end of the bed and that sort of thing. And as someone who's suffered from sleep paralysis, it's not saying it manifested itself as Il-Hadila, as what we put together, but it's not fun. It's not fun. And like I said, I don't scare easy, but that's a time in my life when I was going through those episodes where I felt like genuinely terrified.
Yeah. There's another aspect of that creature as well. It has sort of like this LSD trippy thing going on for it as well, because it looks fractal in nature.
Yeah. So Hadila is Maltese for nightmare. And we, when you're designing a creature on an incredibly low budget.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the hardest things you could possibly do. It's, like there's just so much that shadow and light and suggestion can do. You got to think. I'm a creature guy. I'm a creature guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, hence Golem.
Yeah.
And
but it's about performance. It's about the look. It's about everything. It's about also designing something that is suggestive of a life outside of the film.
Mm-hmm.
It's the look of the character. So, like I said, Hadila is Maltese for nightmare. We went back to there's that fantastic painting, which is used in it's the painting that's used on all the textbooks of sleep paralysis. It's I think it's a Fuseli painting. I think it's called The Nightmare.
I can look it up.
It's the one of a kind of like an imp, like a dwarf sitting on someone's chest.
Okay.
And in the background, there's a horse's head. A horse kind of rearing its head out of the darkness. That's the one.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's the one.
All right, I'll pull this up for our folk that are watching. Just got to get into the space. Come on, give it to me straight away. I have to zoom into it. There we go. Got it. So keep going, man.
Yeah, so we started with the horse's head.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
But then also another inspiration for the character, because, like I said, designing a creature is hard. And more so, designing a humanoid creature is just as hard. And I wanted to do a character that it's kind of like what Darth Vader is.
Yeah, okay.
If you see Darth Vader, like I'm talking about when you see Darth Vader in A New Hope, you're watching and it's like, is that a human? Is there something human under all that?
Yeah.
Because it's a mask, because it's got big eyes and everything like that.
Yeah.
And where there is something human and broken beneath all of that.
Yeah, okay.
And one thing as well is that she has 4 fingers, and 4 digits on each hand, and
they're really creepy. So scary.
and that's in Maltese folklore. Hadila, she tries to strangle her victims, but she can't actually accomplish that mission because she has no thumbs. And that was something that my mum told me from her childhood.
Yeah.
That kind of worked its way into, informing what creature would be the main antagonist in the series, because, there was actually tryouts from the Maltese mythology underworld about who was going to be the main antagonist in this series.
Yeah.
You picked up on the doilies. And I remember growing up as a kid, I'm a wog. I've grown up around where you go on a sofa, the sofa's got a doily, and the doily has plastic on it.
Yeah.
So I remember as a kid going and having pastizzi on my nana on my mum's side, having pastizzi or whatever on the dining table, and there was the kind of big doily kind of tablecloth and then plastic over it. And that has kind of a cobwebby kind of
yeah, that was the other thing I picked up about it. For me, my experiences with doilies as a kid was either one of two things. It was a clean doily that was to do with like cake or tea with the dining area. Maybe even lace sort of curtains. The base of lace curtains has that sort of same doily material.
Yep.
But my other experience of it is when they're not cleaned, when they've been in storage or when they're a part of a corner, they'll collect dust after a while, right? And then they have this strange sort of feel to them. They're eerie. As a kid, I was always weirded out by them when they were dirty. Like, or when there was dust on them, and that's what really drew me to it. I was like, I remember that, and, because you'd have to throw them out or clean them, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my mother used to clean clean doilies all the time. Well, she used to make them, but she used to also, if there was one in particular was like a curtain in the house, and before a spring clean, that's when it would be most dusty, right? And it had this smell to it, this dusty smell, and it was as if it was haunted. It was scary, but in this beautiful way.
Yeah. And like it's funny because, like you said, them being dirty, it scares me. The mastermind responsible for Il Hadila, Lewis Morley, who was one of the geniuses behind The Pig in Razorback.
Oh, okay,
back in the day.
Yeah, famous film. Yeah.
Yes, spent ages de-stressing all these bits of costume that became Il Hadila's costume.
Yeah. Oh, look, it looks amazing, but it really does when it starts to appear. But it also doesn't. It doesn't just appear as this form as well. It sort of appears through like paint, like the poltergeist sort of feeling as well. So you see the shape of it coming through, which is quite terrifying as well. I found that pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's like it's kind of goes back to that kind of fundament of like in animation where they were like, well, I want to create a character that can be recognized from their silhouettes.
Yeah.
And, if you look at some of the great antagonists of cinema, obviously I mentioned Darth Vader. He's, you can pick Darth Vader from the silhouette. You can pick Freddy Krueger even by his silhouette. You can even pick Chucky or Michael Myers or it's you want something that you can that has a kind of stylization to it, and because in horror, shape, shadow, form, they're your friends, and if you can have a simple enough shape, it presents so many interesting ways that you can present the creature. In episode 4, it ends with what we call the Videodrome moment, where Il Hadila's head comes through the ceiling of Nana's bedroom.
Yeah.
And it's it's like you have a character that's like can just be even just with the texture being different, like a ceiling or things like that, you can still tell what it is.
Yeah. Do you mind if I pull a bit of it up?
Sure, go for it. Go for it.
Because I think it's in episode...
So Il Hadila is...
Is it this one?
We're in episode 1.
Chapter
1, yes.
Yeah, that's it there, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to show too much.
No.
So we'll just go to episode 1 because I don't want to spoil it for our listeners out there because it's really good.
Thank you.
No, serious as a heart attack, guys. Go and watch it. It is quite thrilling. But let me just pull this up here. And get it to there. And where's the forward bar in there? I'll just sneak through it. There we go in here. It's up about there, I think. Another thing, I was amazed at the fireworks. You had the fireworks with the moon in there. That was that must have been super lucky.
There in that shot?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Fix it in post.
Oh, yes, that's right. It's right at the tail, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the tail here. Here we go, folks. There's the creature there. Yeah, it's so scary. Like, I know the sound's not on now, but the sound design of this works really well as well. Like, there it is. That's fucking terrifying, man. Hold on, I better stop it quick before it goes on. Oh, this is going to be on loop. But certainly it's well put together, well produced. So let's talk about why this came about from a TikTok point of view.
Sure.
So you put this through together with Screen Australia and TikTok? Yeah.
So Screen Australia introduced the Every Voice initiative, which encouraged people from underrepresented backgrounds to submit ideas for scripted content that would be distributed on TikTok. And, being the son of Maltese immigrants, Malta and Maltese people in Australia are incredibly underrepresented in scripted content. Technically, as the son of immigrants, I come from a background that's culturally and linguistically diverse. So that was my eligibility there. No, we were very.
So TikTok was working with Screen Australia. Okay. Now I've got the picture. Yeah. So yeah, gotcha.
So
because TikTok, like I was saying before, TikTok mainly does. I hit the wrong button here. TikTok mainly does comedy.
Yeah,
it's everything I see on TikTok is either comedy or music sort of driven.
Yeah, and a lot of people in a lot of the other projects in our cohorts, that we're also lucky to be funded through this initiative, and they're all great projects. A lot of them are comedy, very funny, doing very well on the platform. We're just because based on the sheer ambition alone, ours was one of the last to be released. There's a lot of moving parts in this project. There's a lot of moving parts. There's
animation. There's the costumes, for the creature.
You ain't seen nothing yet, Roscoe.
Yeah,
there's a lot of other
the special effects. I don't after this episode drops for Friday, I've got a sneak peek at Friday. It is so fucking freaky, man. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna say what I've seen, but oh my god, you'll watch it. Look. Guys, just go and check this out. You will be hooked. Looking at episode 5, I was like, oh my god, I don't even know how you did that. Like, it's so freaky on how that special effects. Oh, look, I don't want to go too much into it. Make sure you go and check out Grey Stains on TikTok. Just go into Grey
Stain series.
Yeah. So you would have seen me pull it up on the screen there before, folks. So just go and check that out. But horror on TikTok.
Yeah, horror on TikTok. I mean, there's not. There's actually horror seems to be represented on TikTok mostly by influencers kind of plugging what to watch.
So from a review point of view.
Yeah, so a lot of films have kind of gotten a second lease at life because someone's discovered it through streaming and they've pimped it on TikTok.
Yeah, okay.
And
I watch a lot of comedians on TikTok. I see a lot of comedy, a lot of hecklers, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this is like proper production, feature-length sort of production sort of film, but done in segments in a vertical ratio.
It's cliffhanger storytelling.
It's totally cliffhanger. That's a great way. It is totally cliffhanger stuff. I'm annoyed I've only got to see 5 because they're like, I want to see what happens next. We're going to have to wait until bloody Saturday. You release it every day?
No. And I realise that I've made a mistake where you've watched right up to episode 6.
Oh, have I?
Yes.
Oh.
So
it's Monday?
No. Okay, so we release 3 episodes a week. We release Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Okay.
So we're coming up to episode 6 now this Friday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great. Oh, no, so it was episode 6. That's right.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
5 was Wednesday's episode.
Yeah. I was like...
See, it's so funny because I'm working my head around this because when we originally put it together, it was supposed to be 15 episodes.
Yeah.
And now it's been stretched out to 18. So the events of the episode... The events of the episode we're talking to, I still got the old numbering in my head.
Yeah.
That was still technically 5, but it's now 6.
Oh, but cliffhanger storytelling. I've never seen anything like this on TikTok. Like, nothing like it. Like, is there anything else that you can compare to like this on TikTok? Is there any references or?
I do know. Prior to us, there was a Screen Australia funded project from Perth called The Curse of Baba Yaga.
Oh yeah.
Which was a found footage horror series. That's the only thing I can really compare. I mean, there's
probably is.
There's
but
a shit ton of horror stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, of course. Like especially when I was what was his name? I can't believe I've forgotten his name. Shocking Horror Picture Show. Graham.
Oh, Graham Garfield Barnard.
Garfield, yeah, Graham Garfield, yeah. I had him on the show, man, and like going through all his YouTube content, man. It is all over YouTube, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was one of those horror dudes that was right into it, and when YouTube came out, it sort of was that floodgate.
And now we have things like Altar, Dusk. Like we have YouTube channels that actually curate films.
Yeah.
And like short films.
Yeah, that's becoming more common as well. That short film space is certainly growing because of the accessibility of film. But I just find it really profound that you've got this high end budget stuff that has been done in a vertical ratio. Because most people will be like, "Oh, you're going through all that effort. Why don't you do it in a cinematic ratio?" But to target it this way in TikTok, I think is very no one's doing that. Like, I reckon it's a really open space there. It's like a bit of the old Wild West going on there.
It is a bit of that. I'm enamored with the 4:3 aspect ratio. I mean, if you've seen Golem, you know how much I love the 4:3 aspect ratio. It's not just nostalgic. It's in the right circumstances, it can be quite claustrophobic, which is a great energy to have in a suspense or a horror film.
You're right, actually. Looking at the verticals for Greystains, it is a bit claustrophobic in that sense because you've got this little keyhole window that you're looking through, so you do feel like you're hiding while you're watching it.
Yeah, and I mean, I wish I could. There's so much more you want to do to exploit the vertical frame and to exploit the platform, but it's like like any other thing, just because it's being made for TikTok doesn't mean it doesn't take as long to produce. It comes to a point where you have to stop.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing and submit it and do all that.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're releasing also on a platform like TikTok, you're also, if you're on the app, for example, you're you're editing in 9:16. Mm-hmm. But then when you bring it into TikTok, you've also got to accommodate for the fact that there's going to be a search window eating into your composition.
Yeah,
there's
widgets,
going to be a couple of buttons on the right that eat into it, and then there's going to be a description thingamajiggy at the bottom that's going to eat into your composition, so it just gets it gets cluttered.
It's not just pillared. Yeah, it's not just pillared in this way. I've come unstuck a few times doing my TikToks with what you've just mentioned, because I go, I'll just put this together and go, that's buggered the headroom a little bit because of the way that's come out. Like, it was nice in the vertical in the edit.
And the weird thing is, it's like everyone's phones and versions of phones and things like that, everyone is different. So just because what you're doing looks good on your TikTok doesn't mean it's going to line up on someone else's TikTok. It's weird that way.
Yeah. Look, I remember when if you're talking about 4:3 in these ratios, right? I remember when 16:9 came out and they go, that's the end of 4:3. You'll never see 4:3 ever again. It's going to get phased out. It'll be gone. It's may as well be extinct right now. It's gone. But now 4:3 is they're doing cinema releases that are very similar ratios.
It's an artistic decision now.
Yeah,
go 4:3.
Yeah, I think what was the one with you had it was William Dafoe. The Boathouse, the Lighthouse.
Oh, the Lighthouse, fantastic film.
Yeah, the Lighthouse, and then there was the recent one that I thought the most intense resolution I've ever seen in a film. It was a Bradley Cooper film where he was a piano player.
Oh, Maestro.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Maestro, from memory, that changes its aspect ratio throughout the film.
I think it does, yeah. Oh, it changes. No, it changes the texture
color scheme.
The color grade changes through it, but I think it's in a 1:1. I think it's 1:7:1. It's not
throughout
quite
the whole thing.
Yeah, it's not quite a 4:3. It's a little bit bigger than a 4:3. It's the old school. I think like 16 mil. Yeah, I'll have
Yeah.
a look. I'll look it up. But the resolution in this thing is
No,
ridiculous.
it was a gorgeously filmed film.
Yeah, I was blown away by it. I was annoying Misty while I was watching it because I could not stop commenting on it. I go, look at the resolution on this.
You know, it's funny.
It's so high res.
You know, it's funny.
Because it's like 8K. It's an 8K film done in a 4:3 environment. It's like amazing.
I do exactly the same thing. I'll watch a film with my parents love cinema, but they don't. But they're not intimate with cinema. like we are. So I have a tendency to really annoy the crap out of family. Like, when I'll be, frothing about something aesthetic or something like that.
Yeah, there it is. It's at 133 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 133 to 1, which is a very close to 4x3. Oh my gosh, yeah. But you'd never think. Like, if you go back in time when these new ratios and HD was coming out, you'd never think
when they were like blowing, just blowing a 4x3 thing up, just so it would fit in a 16:9 space.
Yeah, well, they call
it like absolute crap.
Well, they call that pan and scan.
Yes,
it's pan and scan. Yeah, so when DVDs first came out, you could watch it in the 4x3, and I was such a nerd. I'd watch the movie in 4x3. One film I did this was called Soldier with Kurt Russell.
Yes.
So you can watch the 4x3 pan and scan, and then you go watch the 16:9, and you realise that they're actually doing post-production camera moves in the 4x3 much differently than the 16:9. It's a different film.
And you know what? Because we actually... So we filmed Grey Stains, and I've done this with all the other vertical films prior. We still film in 16:9. Mm-hmm. And that's so because I do my own posts, like I'm the editor and grand manipulator.
Grand manipulator.
Grand
storyteller.
I like to, because I like to have that freedom of now because we've got such high definition. We work with such high definition, recompositioning shots, introducing pulls, introducing pans, things like that. Which is a lot more flexible than
doing post-production pushes blow me away.
Even pans like that. It's like, so it's like, it gives you more freedom, but at the same time, if you're going to do that, there
are limits.
The limit is, if you shot the thing vertically, then everything that's going to fit in there. The thing is, when you shoot wide, you need to shoot wide. You need to use wider lenses.
Yeah.
Because
But it used to be the other way around. We used to shoot in closer because we go, well, I need to exploit the lens as much as I can get out of it, so I need to get as close as I can or as far, to get the right focal length, especially on primes, right? But now we tend to be sitting back and shooting from further away in order to bust in.
Yeah.
I find that filmmaking has changed in that way. Like when I started out, we didn't do that.
No,
we just did not do that, and especially in a post-production punching into a frame, you don't do it.
Well, I remember...
it was such a taboo. You never did it.
There was the, and it's even still the rule when I work in television, which is like, 20% is the maximum you should be blowing up an image. Now where we are with... with resolution on cameras, where we're at with upscaling software.
Yeah, that's the other thing that blows me away, the upscaling software. And now there's AI versions of that coming out that are rendering things that are just impossible to think about.
I'm one of those old guys on his soapbox who'd be like, screw AI. But AI to create something from scratch, I have a problem with. But AI to supplement to help the post-production workflow, fixing a shot that might have been out of focus.
Yeah, totally.
Upscaling something that was shot on a different camera.
Yeah, the focus is a big one.
Yeah,
because you can have the shot that you go, it's just a bit soft. This shot, why did this shot turn out soft? You know that feeling as a filmmaker. You go, I thought we had it. Why was this soft? But now you can go and totally clean it up.
Yeah, and
without a sharpening tool. Like sharpening tool, you got like 1% variation.
Yeah,
in it, if that.
With sharpening in like when you're using the unsharp mask in any software you're doing, you have to be incredibly conservative with it because it sticks out like dog's balls.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
Yeah, and even some of the AI sharpening is just as terrible. This is not a plug for Topaz, but one of the this actually came very useful on some shots of grey stains that was just slightly out of focus. They had there's a setting now where it says fix. It's just called fixed focus, and what it actually does is it just does a very subtle. But you compare the two, and you're like going, it's so subtle, it doesn't look artificial, and it's like, wow, the shot's saved.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I've even watched stuff that is like a post-production rack. So going between two different focal lengths. So boom, boom. Like doing a post-production rack, and like you never would think in a million years that you could possibly do that. No. Especially back when I started out. Like you have to do that stuff in principle. You have to principally do that. You can't do that as a post-production maneuver. You just can't. You just couldn't. But now it seems like you can just go and shoot everything in wide, and then just go manipulate that however you like.
Mask it, camera lens. But you know what it does as well is there's more control.
Yeah, more dexterity.
It's smoother.
That's right.
You can make it look a bit smoother because you got to have a really good hand to make a poor focus.
Yeah.
Not only be sexy but also be timed correctly as well.
Yeah, especially to a line. If you're doing lines because you'll have your cue points while doing a rack, right? Oh, sorry for people that don't know. We mean rack. When I say rack, what I actually mean is focus between two objects. And the typical rack would be between two actors. One's talking, and then you got to go. The other one starts talking in a dirty two shot. You got to go rack to the other person. When they hear the word tree, you go, oh, that's going to be the time when I rack that. You go, yep, okay, and they would actually mark it out on your focus puller. So you'd have like marks on your focus puller. You go, yep, we've tested that. We know where it is, so I can just go straight there. But it is an art. It's a very difficult art.
It's a very difficult art, yeah.
But now you can do this post-production.
Yeah.
The old saying, just fix it in post, is now, let's just do everything in post.
Look, that is still the most abused term. I say I'm allowed to use that term because post-production is my world.
Yeah.
So there will be times where I can confidently say, we can fix that in post, or I've got an idea of what we can do with this. Yeah. And other times I'll be like, nah. It's not a fix it in post sort of thing. Nah.
It's one of those sayings right up there, like, you can do this for the exposure, right? Just do this film for the exposure, and we'll fix it in post. Cringe. Total cringe on that, man. With technology like that, like I've been experimenting with AIs at the moment, just doing textures. Mm-hmm. So there's ones out there you can sort of make it look like Grand Theft Auto. The consumer engines for it at the moment aren't that good. But at the high end, you can do high-end computing and do that. But I was in a AI lab just the other day, and I was watching this guy. Yeah, it's two people standing up, and they switch their voices. So as one's talking, the other one's using the other one's voice. And then they started changing languages. And then the mouth... So dubbing, right? That's the other thing I've noticed in dubbing on Netflix at the moment. Like, they're dubbing to the mark in different languages. So when they're making films now, just say they made a film in Hollywood, right? When they dub it for a Chinese market and it's in Chinese, the mouths match.
Yes.
Which is crazy. Yes. It's crazy. There's no rubber lips anymore. Rubber lips is gone.
No.
That just blows me away, man.
Well, probably less crazy than that is like... AI has been used to step in for performance.
Ooh.
I remember a few years back there was the Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries on Disney Plus, which, you know, one of the big selling points was it would be, you know, the reunion of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. And, you know, people, you know, you get excited because, like, you know, Darth Vader means James Earl Jones. And
probably the first AI'd voice in history.
yeah, and like, you know, you're hearing these lines and things like that, and you're going, oh wow, like, you know, he's not a young dude anymore. He's in his 90s. He doesn't sound like he did back in the 70s and 80s when he you know, played this character, when he played Darth. And you know, I was like going, oh wow, the sound designers have done a really good job. You know, he must have recorded the lines and done a really good job, you know, de-aging the voice. No, James Earl Jones apparently didn't even record. You know, he was credited, and James Earl Jones as the voice of Darth Vader. Of course, that's a selling point, isn't it? And you know, apparently,
but it wasn't.
It was completely stitched together from a library.
Yeah. So they've pulled into an aggregate. Now they can get it to. They can manipulate it and make it legit. That's the thing that blows me away about it. But yeah, the other ones I've been doing are like marbling statues, where you bring statues to life. And I go, this is just the beginning. And I thought about it from, you know, the death of film point of view. Because, like, every medium has its moment where it's the war of art, right? Where, you know, radio's out there and then TV comes out and kills the radio.
Yes.
And then, you know, and then TV came out and killed the film industry. But then they realised, oh, we still need films. So then the film industry picks up again. And then, you know, then TV picks up again. Then radio is back again, you know. So there's these cycles between the mediums. And it's the technology that's the disruptor that makes all this happen, right? And at the moment now we're streaming all at home in our home cinemas. So there's no real need to even leave your house to watch
Although,
cinema.
to say that, we've had a renaissance in the cinema-going experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I mean, you know, the other year it was... what was it? Top Gun.
Yeah.
Got bums on seats, and now it's...
It was Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yeah, Oppenheimer and Barbie. And now
Barbenheimer, as they call it,
it's been June Part 2.
Oh, June, I can't wait to see this movie.
Right.
I've been dying to see this movie. It's very rare for me to get like that these days.
Are you a fan of the source material?
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that...
influenced me as a sci-fi fan and as a writer in the own universes that I write. Yeah.
Do you like the Lynch film?
Yeah, love the Lynch film.
Same.
Yeah,
but many people are brave enough to admit that they love it, but I love the.
Oh look, I like Billy Idol. I like I like things
Sting.
like Sting. Sorry, it wasn't Billy Idol. It was Sting. That's right. I always get those two confused. But the Lynch version was great. But the whole story's cool. Like, you know, just the idea where they need spice, which is the strongest hallucinogen in the universe that allows you to navigate the stars while traveling faster than the speed of light.
It's buying the Force from the Curry Hut.
Yeah.
You just get it grounded up.
It's like snorting the Force. Yeah, okay.
It's not. Yeah, that's better. It's snorting the Force.
Snorting the Force, so you can navigate your way through space. It just sounds like a cool idea. And all the family, you know, all the family banners that are in it, you know.
Oh, it was the template for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I mean, the first act of June is literally season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and well, this happens all the time, right? And I've pointed this out on the show before. Like, you know, you have things like shows that are really breakthrough, like Breaking Bad, right? And I'd say to people, it's just MacGyver, man. You're watching MacGyver. It's just, instead of MacGyver, it's MacGyver on ice.
Well, what was it when Avatar came out? It's like, you know...
Terminator meets Fern Gully.
Well, it's Fern Gully. It's Pocahontas. It's Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of the Smurfs in there. You know, it's...
Well, we do this, right? And there's I think, let me look it up. I'll check it out. It's the 7 stories that are always told, right?
Yes. No, I had this conversation with my brother-in-law the other day.
Yeah.
And this is actually a good segue to a Greystanes thing, actually, what we're talking about.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it here. I'm typing terribly. The 7 stories that
the 7 basic plots?
Yeah, the 7 basic plots. Here they are. So, is it going to give it to me in a list, or when we have to go fishing for it?
No, there
it is there. There it is there. Let me just route this bad boy. Yeah, so you got Overcoming the Monster.
Oh, well, they found me.
Yeah, that's definitely you. I think, straight at the top of the list. Rags to Riches. Brewster's Millions. If you go back to the '80s, that sort of thing. The Quest. That's a real common one.
Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Quest sort of is heist movies as well.
Yeah. No,
it's the bag of money in the middle that everyone's chasing.
Yeah.
The Voyage and Return, and the comedy. Is there another one below it? And the tragedy and the Rebirth. I always forget about the Rebirth, which is the good guy becomes a bad guy, or the bad guy becomes a good guy.
So you've got here on this list for the Rebirth, you've got things like A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
It's...
Groundhog Day is a good one for that, isn't it? I love Groundhog Day.
It's classic.
Yeah, I can watch that over. It's one of those ones you can watch over and over. So you can't get out of those stories. Those stories, there's no other story that we know other than those 7. And then we can have combinations of them. And I find that through Shakespeare as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically the whole Shakespearean list, Star-crossed lovers, which is kind of a bit rags to riches and quest, and
the Rebirth.
The Rebirth,
a lot of people becoming dicks in Shakespeare.
Yeah. A Midsummer Night's Dream. King Lear.
Lear.
If you look at Hamlet, like that's
that's the total decline of
that's
a bunch of people.
Well, that's the Lion King, right?
Yeah, Hamlet's the Lion King.
Hamlet's the Lion King.
Forbidden Planet is The Tempest.
Yeah.
She's the Man is Twelfth Night.
Yeah. There's no getting out of it. We're locked into it. But I wonder if AI, as far as narrative writing, breaks that mold, because that mold has been broken before, right? Narrative molds have been broken. Tarantino broke that mold. Instead of Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, just rearranged all of that. I remember the baby boomers when Pulp Fiction came out. They're all confused. Like, I don't get this movie. There's no start, there's no middle in the end. It started at the end and it ends at the middle. That's kind of the deal.
Or Memento.
That's a film that runs backwards. Nolan's right into this running backwards thing. Tenet, have you seen Tenet?
I've avoided.
Should avoid it. It's underrated.
I will watch Tenet at some point.
It's a really good movie. I didn't mind it. It's an interesting concept.
I have nothing against Mr. Nolan. I think he's one of the great filmmakers of our generation.
Yeah. Well, everyone likes Batman. How can you not like Batman?
Well, no, actually, I was having this conversation with my mum the other day.
Yeah.
And about Christopher Nolan, because she was saying, oh, we haven't watched Oppenheimer yet, and things like that. And I just said, do you know when I really like Christopher Nolan? When he's simple. So when I talk when he's simple, I mean I really like The Prestige, and I really like Dunkirk.
Yeah. Oh, Prestige was very good. I really enjoyed The Prestige, but again, though, the real big one that he was doing was the dream one. What was that one called?
Inception.
Very much.
Inception was cool.
Yeah.
It's not how I would do a dream movie. Like, I mean, imagine if Terry Gilliam had the script to Inception.
Yeah, well, but it goes, but it's sort of still breaking that mold. It's
still bloody good. It's still bloody good.
It's a heist film.
Yeah.
So it's it's a quest, but it's the mise en abîme. It's the dream. It's the image within the image within the image, and that's the part I liked about it, and the idea of changing time.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing we do in film, right, is change time. When and it can sometimes stuff with a suspension of disbelief. When you go, well, they wouldn't be in the lobby and find that that paper there because that wouldn't make sense, right? Sometimes when you look at compression in film, it disintegrates a little bit if you're a bit too cynical. So looking at time in films, and that's why when people watch it, they go, why would he do it that way? He goes, well, because they don't want to shoot another scene. They're just putting the two scenes in the one scene so they can save a bit of money and get
economical storytelling.
Yeah, you're getting on with the story, right? But there's movies out there that run in real time,
Yeah.
So The Nick of Time with Christopher Walken and Johnny Depp. Great movie, right? It's a 90-minute story with no compression in it. It's just 90 minutes of this man's life. There's very few movies that do that. The idea, that's why I like Nolan, because he messes with these ideas of time. Sci-fis are really bad for it. They'll say present day. You know, there'll be a montage of what happened prior, and then it will come up to now, present day. They'll actually use words to drive it.
Yeah.
Like even start of Star Wars starts in as a
with
word.
A crawl, with a Flash Gordon crawl.
Yeah, with that Flash Gordon crawl, which is like they need to establish where we are via text. So it's kind of a way of, you know, getting things moving along and establishing things quickly.
I think now, audiences, audiences are smarter than ever before. And I think now you can get away with a lot of setting things up. Like you can present,
slower burns.
And I had this with Grey Stains as well, because with Grey Stains you're doing something that's it's driven by concepts from myth, from legend, from folklore, from superstition. Like you've got Nunna putting silverware under people's pillows, and you've got what's the deal with julep, this carob drink that she always gives the kids? What's the deal with that? And like if you kind of audiences can kind of go along for the ride. You don't have to explain everything at the start, but just have very careful dialogue or carefully constructed shots to help you kind of to spoon feed the audience in a non-demeaning kind of way that insults their intelligence. You got to allow the puzzle to be solved by them. Give them a puzzle and let them solve it. And I remember
because especially with the knives and forks, that's the one that blew me away in Grey Stains. Because for me, I don't know where. Oh, I've lost my connection. What's going on, buddy?
Oh
no, we're frozen. I can let me just switch manually. There we go. I can just do it on the desk now. I've got to get across there.
It was the talk of Nolan that broke the computer's
frozen
correspondence of space and time.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's a power. Is it a power issue? Let's have a look at you.
Oh no, but that's a weird freeze frame that I'm on.
Yeah, I think it might be a power issue because I've got it running through this little box here. And it's only drip feeding it power. It's only drip feeding power. I think we're going to have to give it a break for a second. It's about crashing. Is it all right if we have a break?
Yeah.
Sorry about the technical issue, folks. We'll be right back. And we're ready to rock and or roll. There we go. Now I've got functionality back. Limping, but we're there. Sorry, folks. And we're back after some technical issues. But we're still sitting here with Ryan Cauchi, writer, director of Grey Stains. Man, it's been an interesting chat with you, so thank you so much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure.
Where can we go to find Grey Stains?
You can find Grey Stains on TikTok at Grey Stains Series.
So basically you can just type Grey Stains into TikTok and you'll get there, yeah?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, I typed it in.
If you're pessimistic, pop series behind it. And...
Oh, dude! Look, it's absolutely exciting. I totally can't wait to see all 18 episodes. It's an amazing feat. It really is. So kids, go out there and check it out. It is absolutely boss. It is very high production value, and it is absolutely amazing. So thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you.
But guys, you've been watching the Pagey Train. That's right, the Pagey Train. You can go and check us out on Spotify. That's right, video on Spotify or on YouTube. And while you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. But if you're avid listeners out there, you can go and find us on iHeartRadio or Apple iTunes. Basically anywhere you can find podcasts. You've been watching the Pagey Train, and we'll see you next time. That's it, man. All done. Sorry I had to do a quick wrap there at the end.
That's okay.
Yeah, the wheels came off.
No. Got to take care of the technology. We couldn't get too involved in another conversation, and then. Boop.
Yeah, I'm just. It's a bit fragile at the moment, so I've had a.
Fragile.
Yeah, I've just had a this converter just fry, so that's okay. It gives me an excuse to buy another one.